So the next thing on my to-do list is to update the list of the UK Dividend Aristocrats for 2023. And the UK did have quite a lot of negative factors affecting the economy over the last couple of years. So the criteria has changed slightly. They're ranked in order of yield. So I got the full list and I went from the highest yield and I picked the top 10. And they have all raised their dividends for the last 7 years. So if you're an investor in dividend stocks from the UK or even from anywhere else, you probably recognize quite a few of them. But there is quite a few that I've never seen before, so I'm going to have to add them into the portfolio. So this is my previous one. It's 2021 and 2022. And how I do it is when I'm updating this list, I will export everything out of this pie and I'll basically create 2023 from scratch. And the idea behind it is in the long run, on top of any of these positions having their minimum €100 in each of these pies, it will also get any additional income I can throw into this pie. So when I export all of these, they'll go down into the kind of A to Z list of all of the stocks. Everything has a place down here. But the ones that continue to have these good track records will just receive more money than the ones that don't. And I'll be doing this with not only these stocks, but the Noble 30 from Europe, all of these Dividend Kings, Aristocrats, Titans, the whole lot. But I'll make videos on all of them later in the future. And I'll get started on updating the UK Dividend Aristocrats for 2023. So on the right is the new UK Dividend Aristocrats of 2023. And there's a couple of positions that have survived since last year, but quite a few changes as well. So what I'm going to do on my one is export all of them just to empty the pie. So now I have to get rid of the ones who have not made it into this year's list. GlaxoSmithKline, unfortunately didn't make it. British American Tobacco is the top of this year's list, so it's doing very well. Admiral Group did not make it. United Utilities didn't make it. Legal and General Group, they're actually second in the new list, so they've done quite well. IG Group Holdings has also survived. Rio Tinto has not. Phoenix Group Holdings has not. And Jupiter Fund Management has not. So now I'll just add the new slices in accordingly. So this is the new list. And because there's 10 of them, it's very handy. I can just give them all 10% of the total value of the pie. And it's a total of 7 new UK dividend stocks being added to my portfolio. And that's it. The pie is now up to date. So as the years have went on, the only ones that have remained in the list for the last 3 years are British American Tobacco, Legal and General, and IG Group. I already have a position in National Grid, but all of these other ones are new. And I'll use the €22 that I have just to get the ball rolling. And because now it's empty, I can just give them all buy targets, which is 10% each. Now it's all very small amounts, but I can now focus on adding to these new companies, try get them all up to €100 as fast as possible. So I'll now spend about 30 seconds just explaining the very basic details of each company and then you can have a look at them yourself. British American Tobacco, the ticker symbol is BATS. It's about £25.40 a share. I've had a position in it for quite a while. It's actually over the €100 mark for me, which is always nice. And it's top of the list. The yield is about 9% at the moment. Their profits are decent and their debt to assets is also decent. Legal and General Group, ticker symbol is LGEN. It's about £2.18 a share at the moment. I've also had this one for quite a while, but it's not quite at the €100 position for me yet. Current yield is also 9%. Their profit margin isn't actually displayed here, and their debt to assets is a massive 98%. So we'll see if they will be in the list next year. Supermarket Income REIT, ticker symbol is SUPR. It's about 74p a share at the moment, and this is a new one for me. When the market opens in the morning, that will be when I start my position with this company. Financials are not looking too good, to be honest with you, so we'll see how long they last. Horrendous profit margin of negative 150%, but at least the debt is very low, 37%. So it'll be interesting to see how Supermarket Income REIT does over the next couple of years. Intermediate Capital Group. This is another new one for me. Ticker symbol is ICP. It currently costs £13.90 a share. Their fundamentals are looking decent. Their profit margin is also good, 42%. And their debt to assets is not great, it's 77%. But I wouldn't be as worried about this one. IG Group Holdings, ticker symbol IGG, currently costs £6.42 a share, and I have had this one for quite a while. It's getting close to the €100 mark for me. Their financials are also looking okay, not fantastic, but certainly not as bad as the others. Their profit margin is good, 35%, and their debt to assets is good, 32%. So I can see why they've made it into this year's list again. Primary Health Properties. Ticker symbol is PHP. It's about 90 pence a share at the moment, and this is another new one for me. And it's another real estate investment trust. Financials are also not looking great. The only thing that really jumps out at me there is the yield. Profit margin is good though, 36%, and their debt to assets is pretty good, 48%. Assura. Ticker symbol is AGR. Currently costs 42 pence a share, and it's another new one for me. Another real estate investment trust. Another one whose financials are not looking great, to be honest. Very bad profit margin, negative 80%, and their debt to assets at least is not bad, 45%. So we'll see how they do. Londonmetric Property. Ticker symbol is LMP. Currently costs £1.74 a share. It's another real estate investment trust, and it's another one whose financials are not looking great. Real estate investment trusts or REITs don't tend to do well in high interest rate environments. Another one with a very bad profit margin, negative 345%. But at least on the plus side, their debt is not bad, 36%. So we will see how they do. That's a pretty bad one though, I'm not going to lie. But as I've said, these are new additions, so I'm going to research one each individually. Now, don't buy stocks before researching them. I know it sounds rich watching me do it and then say don't do it, but it's the strategy of this portfolio. None of the positions will be so big that there'll be a devastating loss, and I'm going to learn an awful lot as the years go on. Next is Hargreaves Lansdown. Ticker symbol is HL. £7.69 a share. Another new one for me, and the financials are not looking bad. It's another financial company, investment services. Profit margin is good, 44%, and debt to assets is good, 44%. So if they keep this up, I'd imagine they'll make it into next year's list, and a lot of the other ones are going to drop off it. And the last one on this year's list, National Grid. Ticker symbol is NG. Currently costs £9.66 a share. Very big company, 31,000 employees. It's a utility company. Financials are looking alright. Not great, but not the worst. And as far as their profits and their debt go, they've got a 90% profit margin, which is very good. And they have a 68% debt to assets ratio, which is not great, but it's not the worst, to be honest with you. So that's the new updated list, UK Dividend Aristocrats 2023. And all I have to do now is add all of these new positions onto my Excel sheet. So that's about it for this one, and I hope that you found this useful.